Are you thinking about relocating to Tucson, Oro Valley, Marana, Green Valley, Vail? Are you just scrolling through Zillow endlessly looking at homes to buy? Well, you need to stop what you're doing right now and watch this video.
That's exactly right. Most people planning an out-of-state move think that it's a simple sequence. So they start to look at houses online, then they go visit, and then they pick out a house, they pack up a moving truck, and they move.
But doing an out-of-state move that way is a great way to end up bleeding money, end up staying in hotels, renting short-term rentals, and then you end up buying a house that you actually hate. You really haven't had a chance to do your research on the lifestyle in the area that you've bought your home in.
Moving across state lines, whether you're coming from California, Colorado, the Pacific Northwest, maybe LA, there's a specific sequence of events that you need to follow regarding house hunting, lending, inspection tricks, and moving logistics to make sure that your move to Southern Arizona is seamless.
Today we're laying out the exact, real, and raw 90-day master plan to help you make your out-of-state move into Tucson. We're going to be taking you week by week through this process, and we're going to be highlighting the critical deadlines and the hidden builder trap. We're going to help you make this move to Southern Arizona seamless.
I'm Angie Kuzma. This is Pete Peterson. We're the co-owners of the Stratton Real Estate Group. We've helped over 3,000 families just like you buy, sell, and relocate to the Tucson area.
We have over 1,200 five-star Google reviews, and we've attached our information down below. Reach out to us. We would love to be of service.
Let's dive in. We're going to say that you're 90 days out from your move to Tucson. This is not the time to buy a plane ticket yet. This is just the foundation phase.
Your biggest enemy right now is what I call internet illusion. The property looks great from Google View, maybe satellite view, but you really can't see everything on the ground that's going on. Maybe there's a brand new commercial building going up right behind it. There's a brand new development that's in the working phases. You can't see everything through the internet. Or possibly that the location of the house is going to be a 45-minute commute because it's all surface streets and you couldn't see that on Google.
During these first 30 days, your main consideration should be on pre-approval for the loan and lifestyle consideration.
First, the financing. You got to know how much you get pre-approved for before you start looking at locations. So we sell hundreds of homes every year, and the first thing we want to do is connect you with a great lender. We've got several great lender partners that have helped hundreds of our clients. Reach out to us. We'd be happy to connect you with a great lender here in town. We typically recommend local lenders just because they understand the nuances of buying a house in the Southwest.
We do have a lot of solar leases here in Tucson, and a lot of the big box lenders don't understand how those work, so that's really important. Definitely makes it easier when it gets to the appraisal process. Getting a pre-approval letter from a local lender shows sellers that you're serious and you're qualified to buy their house.
And it helps having those great lender partnerships with the volume of homes that we do. Mutual of Omaha, for example, great lender partner for us in all 5 of our locations.
Second, you need to think about your lifestyle. Do you want an easy commute to wherever you're working? Do you want to be close to kids' schools? Do you care about the school district? Do you want master plan communities, or do you want larger lots? So you really want to think about what kind of lifestyle you want once you get here to Tucson.
And like Angie was talking about, location's going to matter. Maybe you're thinking about brand new construction. One of the things that makes us unique than other markets is we do have a lot of pockets of new construction building. Something like out Marana, Gladden Farms, maybe out in Vail, the new developments out there. Or maybe you're looking for more of that pristine country club golf kind of feel, and maybe something up in Oro Valley would make more sense.
If you want a luxury kind of dramatic mountain feel, then the Catalina foothills would be a good spot to consider.
So by day 60, you should have your budget locked down and have your target areas pretty well figured out by this point.
Okay, now we're 60 days out. This is when things are getting real. This is the time to schedule your boots on the ground trip to Tucson.
So you really need to allocate 3 to 4 days and come into town. And note, not to come and be a tourist. We're on a house hunting expedition, right? You're not hanging out downtown eating chimichangas and feeling groovy, right? We're on a mission.
Okay, when you're here visiting, you want to make sure that you take the time to actually drive your commute, the approximate neighborhood that you might be in, to where you would be working in the time of day that you would be driving to and from work. So it makes a big difference if you're driving at 7:30 in the morning versus noon. So make sure that you plan it out and you give it a test run.
And this brings us to the builder trap. Be wary of the warm and fuzzy on-site sales agent that offers you a free cookie, the chocolate chip ones, you know? So here's the deal, guys. The builder's agents, they work for the builder. They don't work for the consumer. Real estate agents work for the consumer. This is the builder trap that we were talking about, right, Angie?
Yeah, so new construction is a great option for a lot of people who are relocating to Tucson, but you do want to make sure that you contact an agent first so you have somebody representing you. You don't want to work with somebody that just represents the builder.
And you definitely want to get a hold of your real estate agent before you make your first visit out to the construction sites so that your agent is able to represent you and register you with the builders.
So one of the reasons why people like new construction so much is there is a great warranty. Everything is brand new, top to bottom, and there's a lot of incentives that the new construction builders offer. So things like lower interest rates, paying for your out-of-pocket closing costs to save you money out of pocket. There's definitely some good perks.
Yes, and we would love to help negotiate a lot of those perks because a lot of people just don't know that when they're from out of state. So reach out to us and we'll walk you through that process.
So a couple of the things that new construction salespeople don't tell you is that the price that's advertised doesn't usually include the lot premium, definitely does not include a backyard. So definitely some things to keep in mind.
And what about upgrades?
Yeah, upgrades, some of them, most of the builders have some things that are standard upgrades, but for the most part, when you walk into a model home, those model homes are full of upgrades. So you definitely want somebody that can help you figure out the prices so you don't get in over your head.
Exactly. There's nothing worse than buying a brand new house and it doesn't have anything that you saw when you walked the model home.
So whether you decide to choose a new construction home or a resale, your goal for this trip, the scouting trip, is to get under contract with your new home.
Okay, now we're day 30 to day 15. So now this is where the inspections and the squeeze kind of is where everything shows up with a little bit of pressure to it. I think what we see it often with out-of-state buyers during this time period is because the inspection is all about the fine print and it gets pretty detail-oriented, so it tends to bring up the pressure a little bit.
Yeah, so in Arizona, we have a standard 10-day inspection period. So during that time, that's when the buyer wants to find out everything that they can possibly learn about the home. So they're going to do a full general home inspection, a termite inspection, roof inspection, HVAC inspection. It is Arizona, so you want to make sure that AC works, and often a plumbing inspection to make sure that there's no tree roots that have gone through the lines. So definitely a time to have an agent that works with you and gets you connected with great inspectors so you make sure that you don't buy a home and then find out down the road that there's some big issues with it.
And we happen to have offices in other states, and depending on the region, those timelines and those inspections look completely different than they do down in the Southwest.
For sure.
What's one of the unique things about our inspection period?
So since it's 10 days, that's the opportunity to check everything. And then by the end of day 10, the buyer does have the right to ask for any repairs that might be of concern to them. So we always recommend asking for the 2 or 3 most expensive items to make sure that anything that really could be a big financial burden for you is taken care of by the seller.
Right. And you just want to make sure that you're working with a real estate team or real estate agents that's paying attention to those timelines on your behalf.
One of the big things that we want to make sure that a home inspector finds for potential buyers is if the house has polybutylene piping. So that's a plastic pipe, which in Arizona, it's very known to crack, and that can be a big hidden expense. So I always want to make sure that we understand what a buyer is getting into and checking out if that polybutylene piping does exist or not. Many insurance companies actually won't even insure a property at this time if those pipes are in there unless it's completely repiped.
The second big one is the roof dynamic. So one of the beautiful things about Tucson is we have 350 days of sun, but it gets really hot and really intense. And the second side of that makes it really unique about Tucson is we have our monsoon season, which is absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorite times of the year. However, when you're buying a house, you want to make sure that you've got a house that's ready to go for monsoon season. You do not want to buy the house and end up with a ton of rain on top of that and end up with a house with a bunch of water leaks.
Yeah, so even tile roofs, the tiles can get loose in the monsoon season. And then flat roofs have what we call an elastomeric coating, and that has to be recoated between every 3 and 5 years. So again, that's something that we want to make sure that a roof inspector checks out for you so you don't have any hidden expenses later.
Don't cut this cost, hire the roof inspector and get the inspection done.
Okay, Pete did mention the monsoon season. So another thing to keep in mind with monsoons is the drainage. Making sure that yards don't drain towards the house. We want to make sure that they drain away from the house. Otherwise, you get mud traps, and it's not a fun thing to have in your backyard.
Yeah, and it's hard to see that because we're in the desert. So those are things you wouldn't notice until we have a heavy rain.
Yep.
And one of the things unique about Tucson, and this is a public service announcement, is that we have these arroyos and these washes, and when we have monsoon season, if they put up a do not cross barrier, do not cross it. It's not deep, but that water is coming down off the mountains and it's moving fast. So going back to the housing issue, right? You don't notice it until we get one of those heavy monsoon rains, and then you realize that you've got all this water pooling up where you don't want it around your home.
Okay, now we're in the home stretch. We're going from day 15 down to day 0. This is the time you're packing, all the packing tape's going crazy, you're getting your boxes loaded up, you're getting everything set up to be taken out to Arizona, you're working on your loan, finishing that up, working to get the clear to close from the lender.
Yeah, one of the unique things about Arizona is your closing day, the day that you actually get the keys to the house, or the day that it actually gets recorded with Pima County. So there's other states that handle that much differently. So if you move here, just because you signed the papers doesn't mean you get the keys. You got to wait till it actually gets recorded with the county, and that's super important timeline-wise.
So typically buyer and seller will go sign their loan papers separately, and then after the paperwork all is signed, then it goes back to the buyer's lender for a final approval. After it's approved, then the title company records with the county. Once it's recorded, then the house is officially yours, and you get the keys.
You get the keys.
Yep.
Okay, so once you get the keys, I call this pizza day. You actually get the keys, you get to start unpacking, you start moving into the house, you get to go stand in the window and look out at the Rincon Mountains and the Catalina Mountains and the view that you paid for, and you now are a homeowner in Arizona.
Okay, a 90-day move does have a lot of moving parts, especially if you're trying to coordinate everything from a few hundred or even a couple thousand miles away. But don't worry, you're not alone.
Our team happens to specialize helping hundreds of families make these moves every year. And like Angie said, there's a lot of moving parts. Whether that's dealing with HOA addendums, utilities, all those kind of things, you need to make sure that you've got a team that's set up to help you go through that process.
So if you're looking to make a move in 30, 60, or 90 days, we would love to help you out. Let's get a plan in place so it feels good to you and there's no bumps along the way. So go to the description below, click the link, and schedule a relocation strategy session with us.
We're more than happy to jump on a Zoom, and Angie or one of our agents will walk you through that process. We do it all the time. We're good about helping you get through those timelines and implementing that strategy that she's talking about.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We do put out new content every single week, and of course, we don't want you to miss an important video. Real quick before we finish though, let's get into a couple FAQs that people might ask.
So one of the frequently asked questions we get is, how early should I start if I'm thinking I want to go to the new construction route versus resale?
So new construction, if you're building from the ground up, can take up to 9 months. So definitely want to start at least 6 months, if not 9 months out. Resale, 90 days is a good timeline. Another question we get a lot is, what if I'm out of state and I have a house to sell?
Sure. We're one of the largest real estate teams in the US. And so we have an incredible network of agents all over the country, and we're able to set up a couple of interviews and help you find a good quality agent to help list that home. And it makes that transition, if we got great communication with the agents that's listing the home, well, we're helping you buy yours.
Absolutely.
Another frequently asked question we get is, how bad will my electric bill be in Tucson in the summer?
That is a big question. So if you're in a standard home, maybe 2,000 to 2,500 square feet, if you keep your AC maybe 76 to 78, you're going to be looking around 300 to 350, maybe 375. Those are the bills in June, July, August, of course, when it's the highest here. Nice thing about Tucson is it really does cool off in the evening. So the rest of the year, you're going to save a lot more money with utility costs.
I know that a lot of people get concerned about that high electric bill in the summer, and Tucson Electric Power has come out with a program that allows you to annualize. They look at your bill and then divide it over 12 months, just so from a budgeting perspective, it's just easier to handle.
Yeah, that way your payments stay the same every month throughout the year. Next one is, how low are Tucson property taxes?
Tucson property taxes are really, really quite low. 0.6 to 0.8 is kind of that range, right? Actually, it's one of the reasons that a lot of people move here from other places around the country, is because our taxes are really, really reasonable.
Even in comparison to Phoenix taxes are higher.
So one of the questions we get often is, can I really buy a house sight unseen?
You can. We actually do it all the time. We'll go out and do a FaceTime video or a video on Instagram or Zoom and let the buyer take a peek at everything that they can see through the video. We always recommend, if possible, to come out during that inspection period, again, just so you don't come across anything hidden, but one trip out to Tucson and we can certainly handle the rest for you. Okay, thanks for watching. Again, we're with the Stratton Real Estate Group. We'd love to be able to help you out, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and find all of our contact information in the description below, and we'll see you on the next video.
Goodbye.